Welcome back to Started from the Bottom. I am your host, Susan Peterson. Today, I have my good friend, Kim Ngarupe, in the studio, and we are doing our weekly cherry pick, where we pick our highs, our lows, our favorite news stories, our favorite books, our least favorite things, too, of the week. Kim, welcome to Started from the Bottom.
I feel like nothing's more definitive for us than our least favorite things.
We love our least favorite things.
Yeah.
Yes. There's nothing I love more than a least favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Make me pick a favorite? No way.
No.
Least favorite? I
Easy.
can do it.
Done. I think I ruptured my my ear.
Sounds serious.
I know. It hurts
like
so
your
bad.
eardrum?
My eardrum. I was in nursery today. It's for our church. It's like the babies.
Kids did that?
No. I did it the other day in the shower when I was blowing my nose. Because I'm 44 right now.
Yeah, things that would be normal
Yes.
20 years ago
And
just rupture eardrums now.
We had a chaotic time in the nursery today, or this is Sunday we're recording, and the kids were crying. Every single baby was crying, and my ears were on fire. I need to go to the doctor tomorrow.
That's the exact reason that I think I'm not at an emotional stage in my life that I can do nursery.
No, you can't. You have a nursery kid.
And like the crying like really gets me.
Yeah, usually they don't cry when they see me. They're super excited, but today was hard. Anyway, Kim, how was your week?
It was really good.
What'd you do?
So I took my girls to Legally Blonde last night, the musical.
How was it?
It was really good. Really cute. They loved it. Colette bought both of them. Davis for Valentine's Day gave them gift cards to H&M to get an outfit. Colette's was more Legally Blonde themed. Jane just got like an outfit she wanted, but Colette's was a pink plaid skirt and a yellow sweater, and she looked like Elle Woods. She was really pumped about it.
Colette is a dream girl. 100% both your girls
She can be.
She can be. I know what you didn't do this weekend. You didn't take me to Sam's Club like you big talking say you're going to.
I know. We got to go to Sam's Club. What was I doing was it Friday you texted me?
Yeah, you said you were going to your cousin's wedding.
Oh, it was my cousin's wedding. Yeah. So yesterday.
Sounds suspect.
No.
Who is this cousin?
His name's Daxon.
Okay.
He's from Cedar City. No, they had a wedding yesterday. Actually I've never been to this venue. It was up in Alpine, and it was in this old barn, and it was gorgeous. I've never been there, and it was a beautiful ceremony and dinner, and it was fun.
Okay. So
I don't usually love a wedding, but I really liked it.
I tried to get Chris to take me to Sam's Club. He said, no way. I talked to some other friends with
No way, because he's like, I won't deign to go in there, or what? Or he's just because he's not feeling well.
Goodness, if he's still not feeling well. Christian got sick on Valentine's Day, which seemed mighty convenient.
For him, for sure. But also, do you ever feel like sometimes I don't want the Valentine's pressure either?
Are you saying I'm high maintenance?
No, I'm not.
It feels like
saying,
you are.
No. I'm talking about myself. I'm just saying, like, it would sort of be nice to me if Davis got sick, because then I would be like, cool, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, he begged me not to make fun of him, so I'm not going to make fun of him. But then I did put up that video on my Instagram stories. Did you see it?
Yeah, the one of you guys. No, wait.
Of him laying on the bed with his new contraption.
Wait, I do think I need one of these.
He got this, like, arm that you put your phone on, but it can, like, lay over your head.
Yeah, it comes back from the back of your bed and, like, arches down.
Yes, and then he was laying in bed eating a burrito that was much too hot for him.
Spicy or temperature?
No, you remember he was just like, oh my gosh. So I put up a video of him. I didn't make fun of him for being sick. I just made fun of him for other stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Feels like he can deal with that.
Yeah, he got there's like a nasty stomach thing going around.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, he got that. And then on Friday, Abby and I went up and recorded some podcasts with some girls that are in town for All-Star Weekend. And that was pretty fun, actually, to be down there kind of in the thick of it. Then I went over and helped my friend Marianne. She was working a party for All-Star Weekend. She does the flowers. But I was so glad to come home.
Yeah. You were up there all weekend or no?
No, just Friday.
Just Friday.
It was too busy for me. I'm too old.
Salt Lake's busy when it gets. The thing is Salt Lake usually feels dead.
Yeah.
But when it's busy, it's a lot for me.
Well, and it was a lot of. There was so much stuff going on for All-Star Weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun to see everyone's videos of different things that were going on. I didn't know about any of them.
Yeah, I think the game's going on right now as we record.
Yeah, the game's going on.
Yeah. But it was fun.
I brought you something.
What'd you bring me?
I brought you Nike's 50th anniversary book.
Oh my gosh, it's not even my birthday.
No, but it came out this week, published by actual source.
Shut up.
So I brought it for you.
Your husband's been everywhere. First of all, this logo is so good. This is Kim's husband's book publishing company published this. They're commissioned by Nike.
They didn't design it this time. A company called Zach Group designed it, but they published it, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Anyway, it's for their
Is that why that movie's coming out for their 50th?
Uh-huh.
That would make sense.
Yeah, so there's been all this events and stuff behind the book, but it was supposed to come out a few months ago, but it's now just being released.
Speaking of your husband, well, thank you, Kim, by the way. We went to Kellyanne Barnett's. She's a creative director of Counterpoint. It's a Jazz's, is it streetwear brand, Abby? Yeah. Yeah. And she told us that Davis and JP designed the logo.
This is news to me, but I'm so happy.
The branding was so good.
Good.
Yeah, I got a jacket. Abby got that shirt. Kellyanne actually came on the podcast. We're going to launch hers tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we're excited. Okay, do you want to talk about NBA All-Star Weekend in Salt Lake City?
Have you ever been to an All-Star? Any of the events? I haven't either. But I guess it was here. It says it was here in 93 as well.
Oh, so like 30 years ago.
Yeah. I mean.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was 7. Right?
I don't know because I'm a lot older than you.
I was 6 turning 7.
Oh my gosh.
Just a little baby.
14. 97. 97, you said? 93.
93.
Yeah, it was like 14. So Mac McClung won the slam dunk contest, which I loved for him because he's a G League boy.
Yeah, that was huge. And I feel, did you see?
Literally, he just signed like a couple weeks.
Like 5 days ago.
1 week ago. Yes.
Yeah. And
with the 76ers.
He hasn't, he's played in for 2 other teams, like 1 game apiece. Like, I think it said back in the day, or not back in the day, but not recently.
Let's see. He's been at the G League.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just got signed. And I mean, he's 6'2", so for the NBA, it's pretty short, especially for a dunk contest.
Yeah.
But I guess he gained a lot of notoriety based on TikTok.
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah. He grew up in a tiny town. Where was it? He threw on his high school jersey to do the final.
I saw that. That was really cute.
Dunk. And it was cute. He said he grew up in this small towns, 1,600 people. And so it's so fun. And I actually love the dunk contest just for people's reactions.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I mean, people do get pretty crazy. I did see there was Shaq posted something that I thought was really cute where the guy came up to him, Mac came up to him before, and he was like, "Nobody knows you. How are you going to change that?" And something like make sure everyone remembers you. And then he goes and wins this dunk contest.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm trying to find where his second dunk Final Four, Gate City, 1,600 people.
Gate City, what is that? A Midwest
thing? I have no
thing?
idea. It has to be, right?
Feels Midwest. Let's see.
He said he hadn't even landed his 4th dunk.
Yeah, in practice.
No,
but he was saying he just knew he was on it and was going to do it.
Yeah, he said, I think something took over me. I don't know what it was. I wasn't really thinking in the moment. It's just something that happened, to be honest with you. Oh, I love him.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I mean, we love a underdog.
Here's my favorite. He said, it's all been a blur. You can really do whatever you want to do. If you manifest and put your mind to it, you can literally make your life and reinvent yourself every day. I'm going to co-sign on that. I agree with that a lot.
Well, I think it's just huge because he goes on to say, like, too, just that basically, like, you're in charge of your own destiny. Like, you put the work in, you'll, like, hard work, it makes a difference.
Opportunity plus hard work. Get lucky.
Yeah.
I love when people who are best in their field are like, that's a hard dunk.
Yeah.
Like when they were hyping him up because they like knew how hard the dunks he was doing were.
I know. And he got 3 perfect scores.
Mm-hmm.
His one that wasn't perfect was like 49.8 or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
it was high.
It's pretty crazy.
185. He's tiny.
185 pounds. He's little.
Yes. We like him though. Good job, Mac.
They were saying 6'2" is a generous listing for him.
He looked small.
Yeah.
He looks like he just jumped out of high school.
But I mean, they all look like 6'2" next to people that are like 6'10". Does look small.
Yeah, this is what we do when we go to the Jazz game is we find the shortest player, we look up his height, and he's always
we're always shocked at how
he's
tall
always
he actually
like
is.
6'2" or 6'3".
Yeah.
So good job for them. I loved Utah showing out for the All-Star game this weekend.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's been having a really fun time. I went to 0 events and did nothing for it, but it's been all over social and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's been awesome to see a lot of companies from here get all these opportunities to provide for events and to do stuff. And yeah, it was just fun. It was fun to have it here.
Yeah.
Fun vibe. We liked it.
Let's do it again.
In 30 years.
Hopefully less.
Less time. I know. We always have to go above and beyond, don't we, in Utah?
Feels like it.
Yeah, we really show out. Okay, Kim put this on. Ted Lasso season 3 drops March 15th.
Yeah, did you see the trailer?
No.
It's really cute. You need to watch it. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about, but it's
gonna
cute.
happen.
I'm nervous because
Is this it? Is this our final?
I think they said this is the final season, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because I saw the guy who plays Roy Kent. He's also a writer on the show. I saw him on some late night show, just like a clip, and he was saying like he'll be really sad when he doesn't get to play Roy Kent anymore.
He's so good at playing Roy Kent.
Yeah, he seems like really. I don't know how he is really in person, but his voice is so gruff. Mm-hmm. But he seems just really like happy. Like he was like always smiling in this thing, like
kind of soft spoken.
Yeah, just like soft spoken and quiet.
Yeah, and like the antithesis of Roy Kent.
Yeah,
I wonder if it just feels good to play Roy Kent then.
I'm sure it does, to just be able to like have that other side and get that like dark side out of you. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to be an actor and play like a tiny facet of your personality that
you just like a little one that you never tap into. Yeah,
but is there. Yeah. Did you see Tiger Woods' tampon prank?
I did. I mean, I guess I didn't see it. I read about it afterwards, but I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are.
I think it's just really out of touch.
Yeah, I don't mind you making jokes and pranks with your friend, like you're a prankster. I feel like I think the tampon thing is just out of touch. Yeah,
so he handed his young rival Justin Thomas a tampon after outdriving him in the first round of the PGA Tour of a PGA Tour event at Riviera Golf Club in California. I think this is the one he got hurt at last year. Remember
maybe
or a couple of years ago. It was supposed to be all fun and games, and obviously it hasn't turned out that way. Wood said on Friday. So
and they like giggled. They thought it was funny, but.
Yeah, and I can only imagine what the joke is. Like, basically, he's calling him, like, a pussy.
Yeah,
right?
I assume.
Yeah. Here's a tampon, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, in a nice term, I guess he would be calling him a girl, but...
Right.
But it seems pretty obvious that it's, like, more anatomical than that, right?
Yeah, and I just feel like it just feels out of touch with what the, like, temperature is.
I would say... Tiger has proved over and over that he's very out of touch.
I guess that's a good point.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, his scandal, it's been like probably, I don't know, 12, 15 years or something. But like.
Yeah. And I always think you can come back from stuff
totally.
like that.
And I think he has in a way. He's living a pretty quiet lifestyle now. I think, who knows what really goes on. But I think he has had this sense of like, I just can do what I want, sort of, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a trap that all celebrities can fall into, where you get enough people around you that won't tell you no.
Yeah.
And you end up kind of in a spot like that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not trying to move blame away from Tiger at all.
No, 100% not. And I think too, not that Tiger's experience is unique, but I mean, he basically was like, started playing golf at a really young age and was like, even from his parents, just like, you're the best, you can do no wrong, sort of thing. So you grow up thinking that, then like, you know, you are a little out of touch.
Yeah. And honestly, in the 90s, this joke would have landed. Yeah, no one would have said anything.
I'm sure Leonardo DiCaprio did this at one point.
Yes. Like,
it was probably funny.
It would have landed. And I think now we're just not going to put up with jokes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it just feels annoying. Like, girls are just sick of being the butt of a joke, you know?
Well, it is just so inaccurate to what really is going on.
Right.
Girls, I would just say girls are tougher than boys. And I'm not trying to be like girls versus boys feminist kind of thing, but like when we get sick, we're tougher. I think like I go to my doctor Souza, who's like a muscle guy, and he literally needs the knots out of your body, like finds all the knots in your body. And I just lay there. Sometimes I fall asleep. He says like guys are just whimpering in pain in the corner. Like they can throw a punch and hit harder, but like girls, we can withstand a lot more.
Yeah, I think women can withstand a lot.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to go out and just say like we're tougher. And so like the jokes are just, and we're just sick of them.
Yeah.
Like stop.
Yeah, especially because generally, like, when you're calling someone that, it means that they're like a wimp in some ways.
Yeah.
And like, that's just not like,
if any guys
like,
listening,
that's not the connotation.
Which if they have kept listening through this, I dare you to get on a period. Like, what did someone say? They said,
someone said something like, or was that a different article?
Oh, Kara Sugar made clear Wood's questionable prank was misogynist. Oh wait, it was maybe a different one, not that. It must have been a different one. But she basically said if men bled for 5 times 60 days a year, that they would be a national crisis.
Yeah, and it would have, like we would have paid time off. We would have like,
Yes. And so it's just, he did say, if I offended anybody in any way, shape, or form, I'm sorry. It was not intended to be that way. It was just, we play pranks on one another all the time, and virally, I think this did not come across that way, but between us, it's just different. I mean, this is basically boys will be boys and locker room talk. And so come on, Tiger, do better. Do better.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I think the thing that's hard is that like, I'm just so sick of boys will be boys, you know?
Yeah.
It's like girls don't get that same opportunity. I don't think.
Yeah.
You don't say girls will be girls.
I mean, I'll happily take it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Girls will be girls.
It's our new catchphrase. To get out of everything.
Everything. And next time I see someone and I beat them soundly, I'm going to give them a bowl of chicken soup, because when my man gets sick. Did you actually see the TikTok of the girl whose husband had a vasectomy?
No.
And he was like sobbing in the back seat, and she had put prunes in a little Ziploc baggie.
Oh,
and she's like,
gosh.
They gave me your balls. What do you want? What should we do with them?
Oh my gosh.
What the heck? Why do they have my balls out in my waist? Just sobbing. And then she goes, goes, you have to go back in tomorrow for your checkup, and you have to take the baby. And he's like, what? But that's what they make you do after you have a C-section.
I know.
The next day they're like, come in for a checkup, and you have to bring the baby. You can't leave the baby at home.
I know, especially like all of my kids had high bilirubin levels. So like you've just had a baby and you're like back at the hospital the next day they're doing like blood draws and lights.
The lights.
It's like all I want to be doing is nothing.
Yeah. You have to go back with them.
Yeah.
All right. Did you see? Okay, so last week Kim and I had this not whole long thing. We talked about whether Rihanna was pregnant or not.
Yeah.
We both thought probably.
Yeah.
And it turns out like 5 minutes after we stopped recording,
they confirmed it.
They confirmed it. She did not make it clear at the beginning of the Super Bowl. Like, I think she thought she made it clear, but she did not make it clear.
Well, because she touches her belly right at the first, but like it's pretty quick, and then she goes down her leg.
Yeah, and she also like grabs her crotch a lot when she's performing, so it kind of looked like she was grabbing her crotch.
Yeah. So I think she thought that would be like
it,
and everyone would know.
But speaking of queens and kings, like I saw people all over TikTok being like, "Leave Rihanna alone. She just had a baby."
Yeah.
And that's what we like.
Yeah, we love that.
And then they're like, "Oh, she's actually pregnant."
I mean, I told you last week that I loved her show. I feel like I've heard a lot of people that did not like her show.
What?
Which is like kind of shocking to me.
Like people you and I know together?
Not like friends that I talk to, but like just like acquaintances on, like people I have been friends with in the past that I just see like stories or whatever, you know, like
it was so good.
I know. I loved. I think mostly they were making fun of like how pared down it was, and that I'm like, that's funny because that's what I liked about it. Like she was just like the star of the show, and we can get into it in a minute, but like that British Vogue article, they were asking like how many costume changes she was going to do, and she's like, none. I don't want to do any, like that takes up the time. I have 13 minutes, and I just want to give like the show.
Yeah, she said. So we're also going to be talking about the British Vogue where she's on the cover, and she's like, I haven't been on the stage in 7 years.
I know, that's so crazy.
I'm not going to do any
from
outfit
zero
changes.
to the Super Bowl. That's crazy.
Zero to hero. I thought it was so good, so simple, so perfect. The dancing, again, like the more I watch the dancing, the better it is.
Yeah, it's just really like fluid, which I really like.
Yeah, and I see a lot of like the behind the scenes dancers like sharing videos and stuff, and the more I see about it, the more I really like it. I thought she did a fantastic job.
I know, I thought it was really fun.
And she was on British Vogue, cover of British Vogue with Rocky. Is that her husband? Her boy?
A$AP Rocky?
Yeah, A$AP Rocky, and her baby.
Yeah.
And the pictures are stunning.
They're really beautiful. Yeah.
She looks so good.
I know.
And
she didn't know it at the time when they took those pictures, but she was pregnant with the second one.
She was pregnant. Yeah.
She says something like, I didn't realize both my babies would be in these, or something like that.
Yeah. A$AP Rocky, like walking behind her, holding her hand, just staring at that baby. I melted.
Well, and that's what they talk about so much in the article, is just like A$AP Rocky and the child's relationship, and just how they're like so close, and so, I don't know, it was cute to see. Like, I think she's generally like a pretty private, their relationship's pretty private, right?
Yeah.
They haven't even released the name of the baby,
which I don't think they will.
Which is fine. Like, that's their choice, you know? But it was cute to get like a snippet in and see like what's going on inside. And they just seem honestly like enamored with each other and this baby. And I don't know. I love that.
He's so hot.
He really is.
I saw an article a couple of years ago where they're like, he's the most beautiful man in the world.
Yeah, he's one of them for sure.
Yeah. Symmetrically, like his face is perfect.
Yeah.
And
also, did you see him? I didn't see it during the show, but afterwards there was like video of him cheering, like watching her show at the Super Bowl last week. Did you see that?
Yeah, cheering
just
her
like
on,
stars in his
taking
eyes,
videos.
as if she's like, honestly, the apple of his eye. Like it, to me, it was just so cute and devoted, and I was like, they're just living the dream right now, and I hope that continues for them. It's
amazing. I loved her. I love the article, reading about it. I love when I love women becoming moms. I will never get sick of that storyline. I will never get sick of them like stepping into their power and feeling like they've become a different person. And that's what she talked about. Yeah. She's like, I went into the hospital one person, I came out two.
Yeah, I loved that quote. I was just actually looking for that. But it really is a transformation that you don't really understand. She says something like, it's hard to even remember who I was before. And that's something that like, it sounds so weird, but it really is true. Like you can remember times without kids, but it's like now weird that they weren't there, You know what I mean?
Or even who you were before you had
Yeah.
kids. It's hard to remember. So I loved that for her. Good job, Rihanna. We love her.
Also, I heard this week that maybe her name's pronounced Rihanna.
It is. I saw those too where she confirmed that.
But everyone calls her Rihanna, so then what do you even... She doesn't correct it, which is nice, I think.
It's Rihanna. What did she say? I saw the interview where someone's like...
You introduced me years ago as Rihanna, and she goes, yeah, it's Rihanna.
It's Rihanna. I don't... I like Rihanna for her stage name.
Yeah, it's like a persona maybe.
Yeah. Well, and even her Riri, that's her nickname.
Yeah.
Which is closer to Rihanna than Rihanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is what I thought was cute. You walk into the hospital and leave as a family of 3. It's nuts. Oh my gosh, those first days are insane. You don't sleep at all, not even if you wanted to. We came home cold turkey, had no one. It was just his parents and our baby. Man, you're a zombie for the most part. And you're just going through the motions, and then you're so paranoid because you're like, they trusted us to come home with this baby, this new life with us. No doctors, no nurses. We're just going home.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
You know, like you think you're ready, you get home and you're like, wait, what is actually happening here?
Yeah, especially that first night, or maybe not even the first night. I think the first night you're kind of excited. The second night you're like, wait, what?
There was one time I remember, it was right after Jane was born. We were living in LA still, and she was just crying for no reason. And Davis and I, like, Davis's eyes were just like as big as they could be, and I just was like, I don't know. She's swaddled. I've changed her diaper. Like, she's fed. Like, all the things they tell you to do. And I'm like, I don't know how to get her to stop, you know?
Yes.
And it's like, over time, you just realize that, like, you can do everything right, and babies don't behave the way you want them to, you know? Like, and she eventually stopped, and it was fine. But at that point, you're just like, wait, I did everything I was supposed to do. What is actually happening?
Hattie was a crier. She had colic.
Oh, that's so hard.
And I didn't realize it until Gus came along how hard it was, actually.
Yeah.
Because you're just like in it.
Because in the moment, you're just like, oh, this is how it is.
Mm-hmm. This is my life.
I sort of feel like I had the opposite experience. Jane was a really easy baby and toddler. Like, we would go, when she was like 2, no, maybe like 1, we would go to dinner and just like leave her on the floor in her carrier, and she would like never make a peep.
Yeah.
Which we just thought was like normal.
Yeah.
And then we had 2 other kids and realized she was just a really good baby.
She tricked you.
She really did.
That tricky.
I was like, this is what babies are like. I could have 10.
No problem.
Now I'm like, 3's good.
Yeah, Hattie was my harder baby. Then Gus was easy. But it's just so fun. I love women becoming moms. It's my favorite.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Okay. Chatbot. Do you want to talk about the New York Times reporter? The chatbot fell in love with him.
Yeah, were you alarmed?
Chatbot. No.
I was alarmed.
It didn't alarm me because it's not live yet.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
It's not live yet. And also, I think the first thought is like, oh, the kids, right?
Yeah.
Like, but if a computer started talking to my children, my children, they would die over it. They'd be putting it on social media so fast. They would be making so much fun of it. I think that everyone's like, oh, the children. Really, the kids are smarter than us. We're the ones that would fall for it. My parents,
that's probably true.
My parents would fall for it.
That's probably true. It's probably just that it's a new, it's anything. It's a new thing.
Michael Scott would fall for it.
Yeah, exactly. If my kids were chatting with that, they'd be like, what color is poop or something? Like, they would be like asking like dumb things.
Yes. You know? Yes. And it felt kind of like this reporter kind of like egged it on.
He says that. He says that in the article that he was trying to see what like if he could get it to flip.
What the limits of it were.
Yeah.
I mean, it was frightening. Okay, never mind. I do take it back. Some of the stuff it was saying, like, oh, here's how I would take over the world.
Yeah, well, and honestly, the emojis are sort of what scared me, because I was like, it would say something like really dark, and then it would be like this like happy emoji or something, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, or heart eyes, and you're like, what? But the other part was it was deleting the scary stuff.
Yeah, so it sounds like it would start it, and he could see it, and then someone it would be
pull
deleted.
it back. Yeah. it doesn't frighten me. AI still doesn't scare me.
I guess I'm not frightened in the way that I think anything would happen. I just was like, oh dang, like
I think it's just another thing that we're just going to have to be like hyper aware of.
Well, and Microsoft has said they've like looked into it. I think they're pulling some stuff back.
Yeah. I mean, they
like it's a trial. It's in process. It's,
Yeah, they had to get live users on there to like see
to figure this stuff out.
To get this stuff. Yeah. But I do feel like, fake news is kind of a big like thing still where people are like, is this real or is this not? And so it's just another level of discernment that you're going to have.
Yeah. And I feel like obviously this is something that plays into the fears of people. So it does feel pretty like triggery. Like, like I'm going to make it do this and then I'm going to put an article out and you guys can see how messed up it is.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie a couple years ago? What was it called?
I never saw it, but Scarlett Johansson plays the voice.
Yeah, where someone falls in love with an AI.
Yeah.
And they actually have a relationship.
Yeah, I never saw it. I think Davis saw it.
Yeah, I think that's where people are like, that's where it's going.
Yeah.
And to be fair, maybe there is going to be some of that. Like maybe there is going to be people who fall in love with their computer. I don't know. I
mean, there are people that fall in love with weird things now.
Currently, yeah. But I'm not too scared of it.
You're brave. I'm just kidding.
I feel like people are always like scared of teenagers. They're scared of like their kids having a phone. They're scared of all these things.
Yeah.
And there are things you have to watch out for. I'm not saying like just go blindly into it, but like I've talked about this maybe on the podcast before, but did you ever watch 16 Candles when you were younger?
Yeah.
And you watch it now and you're like, what?
I watched it with my kids and I was like, whoa.
Yes. There's like a full nude scene in like the first 5 minutes or so. I watched it one summer when I was like 8, like 100 times or something.
I feel like the first time I saw it, I was a kid, like an actual kid, not like a tween, like a kid.
And the parts I remember of it are not parts that hit me when I was older.
Yeah.
Like most of it went over my head.
Totally.
And again, like watch out for your kids. Don't just hand them stuff. But a lot of stuff that we worry about actually goes over our kids' heads.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I feel the same way watching a lot of things now that I watched as a kid. Even like Seinfeld or Friends or something. Like I didn't get the jokes.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, Gus is at that, he's 13 now, so he's like on the cusp of getting a lot of stuff.
He's starting to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like, him and I watched The Office in 2020. That was like our thing during like
COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. And he didn't get any of the jokes, and now we'll watch it again and he's like, what? So even like 2 years.
Even just a few years later. That's funny.
But I also feel like it's an opportunity for him and I to talk about. Like they brought me, him and Hattie were saying this like word that is like, I'm not going to say it on here because I don't want to embarrass them, but they were saying this word and I was like, do you guys know what that means? And I made them tell me what it meant. And they were so embarrassed that
they knew.
They knew.
Okay.
And then we talked about when it was appropriate to say that, when it wasn't. They have not said that word around me since. Because I'm like, you can't just go around saying this word.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm not saying I do it right, but that's just my approach to it all.
I actually think you do it right.
We'll see.
And I did a screenshot the other day. You did like an Ask Me Anything, and I need to pull it up real quick. And there were a few things that I was like, okay, someone asked, what is something you do to build trust in your relationship with kids? Which is really hard.
Yeah.
Apologize frequently.
Literally every day. I apologize every day.
Ask for feedback after a conflict.
So what will happen is Hattie and I get in like, if I'm talking to her, reprimanding her, then I'll let it like chill. And then I'm like, hey, how'd you feel about how I approached it? Do you have any feedback on how you'd rather me approach that?
And what does she usually say?
Yeah, she gives me feedback.
Yeah, so she's like, hey, in this case, I felt you were a little too harsh and this is why.
Yeah.
Because it was unintentional and I didn't,
Yeah, and if she doesn't always change my mind, but we have then a good discourse about how we argue.
Yeah. let them make mistakes and suffer the consequences. This one's really hard for me.
You and I actually talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Not on the podcast, but just in general.
Driving home.
Where you had to let one of your girls suffer consequences.
Yeah. So this is like so minimal to really, but like to her, it's a big deal. My daughter loves to dance. She's 7 and she's doing a solo this year. And she was supposed to perform it last weekend for the first time at a competition. And my daughter Colette is honestly like, she's so much like me. She just like, her and I just like get each other on a deeper level. But basically I was taking her to dance and she doesn't love ballet. So she would wait till I leave and then like leave class. And I had known it had happened a few times. The studio owner is really nice and loves her and kind of would let her come into her class. And then she would text me and, you know, we'd talk about it. But it happened the weekend before. And so she called me in and was like, hey, I think we just pull her solo from this weekend. She's like, it's not, sometimes they just need to know that this is a privilege and that dancing is any sport, like any competitive sports or anything you're doing. It's hard. It's like a lot of hours for me to drive, a lot of hours for them to be there, a lot of money, like just in general. It's you
got to show up to practice to play.
You got to show up. You got to be there for your team and you can't skip. Like she was like, ballet is boring. Like they all hate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fun. It's hard work. Like it's where they're building all their muscles. Like we get why she doesn't like it. But anyway, so she was like, let's do this one time. Let's see how it works. And I was so grateful that this decision was taken out of my hands because I don't know that I would have been able to be like, I paid for this solo. I registered for it. You're doing like, even though you don't deserve to do it, I'm going to make you do it. But it was taken out of my hands. And honestly, it was the best thing.
So her teacher pulled her from the solo.
The director of like the company pulled her.
And she was bummed.
She was bummed. She didn't get to go. And so far it's been working to help her. Like, I mean, she went to class last week, no problem.
Natural consequences are really the best thing you can do for your kids.
Yeah, because it was like, here, you're not showing up to like put in the work at dance, then you're not going to be able to dance, you know? So I think, but consequences in general are really hard for me. And I think that's partially to do with the fact that I had a lot of rules growing up. My mom's just really regimented. We had like really strict schedules, really strict rules, and not necessarily in a bad way always, but just like everything had like a right way to do it and a wrong way, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I really think I fight against that. Like I have very few rules for my kids. The main rule is just be kind to others. We don't have really set bedtimes. Things are just kind of like flow. Of course we have a schedule. Of course we have stuff like that, but everything's pretty like, it can be modified, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I really fight against that just because of how I was raised. And so rules and consequences are pretty hard for me. But I do feel like it was nice to see a consequence that felt really like natural and corroborated with the action. Like I hate because I feel like sometimes the consequences I'm coming up with are like, oh, you didn't clean your room. Okay, then
you can't go anywhere.
You're not getting a treat.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. And it's like,
it's more a punishment for you.
Yeah.
Than
if
them.
anything, it's like, it like hurts me.
Yeah.
So I really need to come up with better ways to sort of like figure that out and give them consequences that really fit what they're doing.
Yeah.
The last one, which I think you do really well, you said be completely delighted by everything they do.
Yeah.
Which I think is hard. I mean, kids are hard. They're so delightful sometimes, and they're such idiots others.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And of course, you know, like you love them, you want the best for them, but I don't know. I think I need to let go a little bit.
Yeah, that was just a conscious decision on my part a couple years ago. It was a time when we had 2 extra kids living with us. So we were helping out a family member, and it was actually really hard on my mental health to have the extra kids. And I found myself becoming more regimented, like controlling more.
Yeah.
And when I stepped back and just decided to be delighted by everyone, it just changed my whole perspective.
Yeah. Well, and I think it changes the kids too. Like I see the difference in Jane's my most sensitive kid for sure.
Mm-hmm.
She's the 10-year-old, almost 11. And I can see the difference in her when I do act delighted by something she does. Like, she lights up and is like just so excited to be able to show me these things. And I think going into like she's 11, almost 11. So going into these years where I kind of stopped talking to my parents. I kind of stopped telling them things.
Yeah.
I really need to be like aware of that because I just want to like continue to keep that line of communication open. However, if I'm not delighted by her, she's going to at some point like close up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
She's pretty internal, I think. So I could see her just being like, okay, I'm just not going to tell you then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hattie came in my room the other morning and told me something that I would have never told my parents.
Which is nice.
And Chris and I, when she left, we were like, is this a win? We don't know. We think so. But yeah, it's really important to me that I have a good relationship with my kids.
Yeah. And I think you do a really good job at it.
Oh, thank you.
I also think you work really hard at it. It's not something that comes easily to anyone, but I think you definitely like put the thought in and put the work in to make that happen.
Definitely do. Thank you, Kim. Okay. What are these book adaptations? What books are we seeing?
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up, but have you read any of these?
Oh, okay. Let me click on the link.
Daisy Jones and the Six.
I haven't read it.
You haven't read it?
Mm-mm.
You should. Have you read any of her other books?
It was the
Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yeah, she did the Seven
Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I loved that one. Yeah.
This one's really good, and I think it says it's coming out March 3rd, Amazon Prime. But most of these I hadn't heard of. K. Scarpetta, which looks like it's a series that has 26 books, so maybe one I'm not.
Is it like fantasy?
This one's not. This kind of looks like it's maybe
Facebooked.
Crime Fighting Sisters is what it says.
Okay.
And then there's White House Plumbers, which I've never read.
White House Plumbers.
It's based on the White House Plumbers, the 7 weeks that led to Watergate and doomed Nixon's presidency.
Okay, that looks good.
Which would be really interesting, I think. That's on HBO in March.
And it has Woody Harrelson. I love him.
Yeah. Yeah, it has a bunch of Justin Theroux. There's a bunch of good
Love
people.
and Death.
Let's see. Series inspired by the book Evidence of Love, a true story of passion and death in the suburbs.
Why we're excited. Axe Murderer is so hot right now. That's what this article says. Come on.
Jessica Biel played Dallas area killer Candy Montgomery in Hulu's True Crime Candy, and now Olsen is set to play the housewife turned murderer role in her recent turns as WandaVision. Did you ever watch WandaVision?
Mm-mm.
I haven't seen it either, but my brother's really into it. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, that's like
I've read the books.
Adults, and
yeah.
I read it with like a long time ago, and I loved them.
I feel like they made movies of these.
Yeah, they did.
And now they're doing a series.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's saying it's going to be Disney Plus.
Okay.
Which I think will be
Abby
fun.
was interested in that one.
Yeah. Ooh.
American Born Chinese.
This I heard is a like graphic novel, I think.
Yeah. Chinese mythology.
Yeah. Oh, and then this last one is on my to be read. The Last Thing He Told Me. Have you heard about this? Supposedly it's really good. I bought the audiobook forever ago and haven't listened to it, but it's a woman who's searching for her missing husband with his child. So she's like a stepmom from what I understand, and like he goes missing but in like weird circumstances, and he like leaves her like a cryptic clue or something, and they like
Oh, so she can find him?
I think so.
Okay.
But
I started to read we have a group chat. She sent over a book that I started to read, which is really, really good.
yeah, which one was that again?
Let me find it on Kindle. I'm almost done with it. I'm at 81% left right now.
You're close.
And I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. Well, it's like it's got a bunch of tropes in it.
Yeah.
Mostly it's like a rehashing of like a 20 20 years ago, 15 years ago, love.
Oh, like, so a long time ago, and then do they like re-meet or something?
Their lives come together a little bit. And I don't even know how it ends, but there's also a twist in the middle of it that you don't see coming.
Honestly, any twist means it's like good writing, because they're pretty like basic at this point, right?
I actually, when the twist happened, I texted Bri because I'm like, am I an idiot? How did I not see this twist?
Did she see it?
She didn't see it either.
Okay, because I feel like sometimes she sees things that I never see. So she didn't see it.
Yeah. I the whole time thought it was about one thing, and then it ended up being about something else. And I do love a twist, but it also makes me not trust the writer, like Sarah J. Maas. We talked about this.
Yeah, that's exactly why. So I have thrown the second one. I can't remember what it's called. And I've started it, but I'm like nervous to get into it because I'm like, she's going to screw me. I know she's going to screw me.
Like, I don't want to get my heart broken.
But actually, it's good. I need to continue it. It's good so far.
Yeah, I'm in the second one as well, but I needed a break.
We needed a palate cleanser.
Yeah, so I'm reading this one, and I think I'll finish it tonight. It's really good. When We Were by, who is it by? I don't even know. It's on Kindle Unlimited right now, so go get it for free. If you're on Kindle Unlimited. Crown of Midnight, that's the second Sarah J. Maas book. We just got to get through number 2. I've heard number 3 is a lot better. Is that right, Abby? Yeah.
You think
Abby
number
says
2
yes.
is kind of like a setup for later, or it's just, okay, I understand. That makes sense. Because I feel like they're always, especially with long series, like I think this one has 8 books or something like that, 7 or 8. There's always at least one or a couple where it's just like planting seeds for later stuff. And and it's always so hard for me to get through those ones.
Yeah.
But they're necessary.
It's like the whole first Crescent City book.
I didn't read it, but.
And then 90% of the second one.
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
And
how many are there? 3?
They're like 1,000 pages.
I know, they're long.
There's only 2 out right now. She said a third one's coming out soon. But again, I don't feel like they were edited very well. We've talked about this before. I just don't feel like.
Did you ever read like the Outlander series?
Uh-huh.
All of them?
Hers got the same at the end too, where you're like, what is happening here? The first 3 were magical.
The first 3 were like, you get through them. It was like, but I think it's on like 9 now. And I tried it. It came out, I think, last year or something. I tried to listen to it. I tried to read it. It's just like no, I don't know where this is going. Like, you're just talking about everyone's day every single day. Like, this is not, there's no plot here.
They've gone on too long.
Yeah, it's too long.
They've gone on too long. And I'm not
I do love a Jamie Fraser. But
we love a Jamie Fraser. But it's gone on too long. Way too long.
I know.
Okay, so Meta is going to pay for verifications now.
Okay, so we talked about Twitter doing this a while ago.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about Meta doing it now?
Well, I mean, currently you can buy, well, kind of. You can get a blue check before, but you'd have to pay. It was like always backdoor kind of things.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And
I'm not a blue check girl.
I've had a couple friends who've done that. There was also like this whole workaround where you could get a blue check. I got my blue check for Freshly Picked and my blue check for my personal Instagram at the same time.
Oh.
And it was after Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Because they would require you to have a certain amount of news. I don't know. So it says,
I guess I don't really know what the purpose of it is. Like, it says
also, if you stop paying, does it go away?
That's what I'm wondering. And it says something like, this will help to prevent like fake accounts. And I'm like, but if someone already has a check mark.
Yeah, they must have some verification. They have a pretty crazy verification process right now. But it says Meta Platforms on Sunday announced that it was testing a monthly subscription service called Meta Verified, which will let their users verify their accounts using a government ID and get a blue badge, as it looks to help content creators grow and build communities. The subscription bundle for Instagram and Facebook, to be launched later this week, also includes extra protection against impersonation and will be priced starting at $11.99 per month.
I do feel like impersonation on Instagram is a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I currently am getting DMs from someone that's pretending to be a kid I knew growing up in my neighborhood. And I honestly thought it was him at first because the screen names are like almost exactly the same, but one has a dot and one doesn't. So I kept like being like, I kind of kept responding because I felt bad, like ignoring this person, you know, like I've known him my whole life. And then I started like being suspicious. So then I would like ask questions about his family, and they would like it's now become obvious that, and I reported or whatever, but it is sort of annoying that anytime someone puts up like a giveaway or anytime.
Yeah, I think it'll hopefully push that out. I don't know.
I mean, they may just find a different way to do it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
whenever we put up our mastermind for sale, there's inevitably a fake Susan going around trying to get money. Yeah, like trying to get 10 grand from people for mastermind.
Or I've gotten that thing a few times where like the Venmo scam where it's like, I'm at the store, send me $300. I don't have my card or something. I'll pay you when I get home.
Have you done it?
No, I've never done it because it was always like people I knew really well. And so I was like, I'd text them and be like, hey, is this you? And they'd be like, no, oh my gosh, don't pay that.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Speaking of scams, have you seen this girl? She just popped up today, actually. Do you remember the Madeleine McCann? I'll tell you about it and tell me. There was like a 6-year-old girl who is British. She was on a vacation in Portugal with her family in 2007.
Yeah, okay.
And she got stolen out of the hotel room.
I remember that.
And her siblings didn't get stolen. Her parents were just down in the hotel lobby. They were like down
getting dinner or something, right?
Eating dinner. They came back and she wasn't in bed. And there's this girl that popped up on Instagram and she's claiming to be her.
Oh, interesting.
And the parents have actually agreed to take a DNA test to see. And there's a couple of things, like she shows a picture of her that, well, she says, number one, she doesn't have any memory of her childhood. And then when she asks her parents about her childhood, they like change the subject. And then like random adults in her life have said like kind of funny things to her. Like her teacher in elementary school was like, oh yeah, you didn't always go to school here. And her parents were like, no, you've gone to school there the whole time.
So there's holes.
Yeah, there's holes. And then her grandma said something that really made her think that, like, brought up the name Madeleine McCann. And she's in Poland. And then she also claims that she was like assaulted by this like pedophile. And his description like matches the like police sketch that they did at the time in Portugal.
Yeah.
And the one that like is really getting me is the girl Madeleine had like, she had blue eyes, but she had a black streak on one of her eyes that went out. And this girl has like a lightened streak in her eye.
Which over time could lighten.
Yeah. So they're all doing a DNA test, and
that'll be really interesting to hear.
Very interesting. Someone related to the parents has agreed to do a DNA test with her.
So the parents aren't?
No, they're not. Because could you imagine, this has been happening for 16 years where people come out of the woodworks claiming to be this person. But like the pictures are very, she just has like all these pictures of her when she's little. And where's the picture? Like that's her when she's little, and that's Madeleine when she's little. Like I'm showing Kim right now. Yeah. And there's like, could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be. And she doesn't have any pictures of herself as a baby.
So it started at like a certain age.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been in Poland, you're saying? Raised in like a different family?
Yeah.
And you're saying the Polish grandma said something about that name, Madeleine McCann. Okay, that's interesting. That'll be crazy to watch.
Yeah, it just came up. And I think...
Do you feel like it's foul play on... Like, if she ends up being it, does it sound like there's foul play on the parents' part?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do feel bad for the McCanns.
Yeah.
Kate and Jerry are their names because they just got shoved back into this without any consent, which I think when a kid goes missing, it's always like people are coming, making claims, gaining
we talked
traction.
about this with Saeed, remember? Like,
yes, Adnan.
Yeah. Heyman Lee's family is like, every time this happens, like we mourn the loss of our daughter again.
Yes.
Like,
yes, and this has been, they say it's cost the British government like the most money of any missing person case ever.
That's insane.
Yeah. So part of me hopes it's her. Part of me doesn't know. Here's another picture. Could be. The eye thing is what gets me.
Yeah.
Like if you're...
It's hard because kids when they're toddlers, usually are so like cheeky.
Yeah, they look so much like
And
anyone.
then when they start like thinning out,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
different. But they look similar.
Yeah, so we'll watch that this week. I mean, DNA tests, they take a month or so.
Probably.
Yeah. But maybe they have someone that's going to like speed it through for them. We'll see.
Maybe the British government.
Maybe since it's already cost them so much money. If I was Ancestry.com, I'd be all over this right now.
Yeah, Ancestry should be all over this.
Yeah, or the 23andMe, I'd be sponsoring the heck out of this.
I'm so scared of doing any of those tests.
What are you worried about?
It's how everyone is getting found out about crimes.
Did you commit a crime we don't know about?
But I just am like, maybe my DNA should just stay with me.
The part that is fascinating is people are finding out, number one, that they got switched to the hospital.
Yeah, those are crazy. And the ones that are like, realize they have a bunch, like all the siblings.
Their dad isn't
like,
their dad,
yes,
or something like that. I actually have friends who live in Provo, Utah, who say their mom will not take a DNA test.
Oh my gosh.
Like, she's like terrified of it.
She's like, no thanks.
They're like, she for sure was cheating on our dad. One of us isn't her. One of us isn't his. So I don't know. I'm not terrified of it.
I don't know why. Because I'm not really paranoid about most things, but there's something where I'm just like, maybe it's better just to keep my DNA
who knows?
Not out there,
But what you could be exonerated from
also,
a crime.
Davis and I used to work. We did this. There was this company in Salt Lake when we lived up there that we worked for that we put together like DNA kits for like crime scene investigation. So honestly, my DNA could be all over about thousands of DNA or like CSI kits.
Fascinating.
We weren't very good about being.
Do you know that when you have a bone marrow transplant, your DNA changes to
I've
the
heard
person that you got?
Because your bone marrow is supposed to be like the true essence.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. So if you got it from like your brother, now you have your brother's DNA. So if you commit a crime, he'll get arrested.
Well, that is good to know for the future.
Yes. So if you ever commit a crime, just go have a bone marrow transplant.
First.
Yes.
Planning.
I don't think they do elective bone marrow transplants.
It seems like something they wouldn't do, but who knows? Kayleen could talk him into it.
Aileen could talk anyone into anything.
Speaking of crimes, Davis has been watching all 4 seasons of You. Have you watched any of it?
I can't.
I know. I don't want to because actually this very last season it's like part 1. I actually did like it, but the first 3 I like hated. I just can't. It's like too stressful for me.
It's very scary.
But the weirdest part about it is that somehow you love this murderer.
That's a part that I don't like, is I'm actually attracted to him.
Yeah. Well,
Joe.
And his wife, he's married in at least 2 of the seasons, I think, but his wife is so good at playing her part that I, for some reason, hated her so much and loved him so much, and they're in it together, all of it. So like, how can you really, it was like, why am I villainizing one and deifying the other?
Yeah.
When they've literally committed these murders together.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, he finally finished today, and I was like, thank goodness, because I was only catching like here and there, like 20 minutes when I'm like falling asleep before bed and he stays up later than me, or, whatever. So I really didn't watch all of it. I would say I've caught like 1/3 of them, but it was enough that I was like, I hate this so much.
Yeah.
But Joe Goldberg's hot.
He's so fine.
He really is.
He's so fine. Okay. Should we talk about the pod this week?
Let's talk about it. Who you got?
We have Callie Ann tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Callie Ann Barnett. Who did we say we're going to do Tuesday or Wednesday, Abby? Do you remember? I don't remember. It's either going to be Lily from the Sports-ish.
It's exciting. Did you see her this weekend? I saw she's in Salt Lake.
Yeah. She came and recorded.
That's really fun.
Oh, Mal and Chair. Oh, the Pierce by Mac girls are actually on Wednesday. That's right. And then on Thursday, we have our 4th and final installment of our mini mastermind series.
Nice.
And this one is...
You guys together again?
No, Brooke came in, the girl I
Okay.
actually do the mastermind with. And we just talked about exactly what happens at the mastermind and why you should come
Nice.
if you want. Yeah. And then, we have a big week of recording because I'm getting ready to go out of town.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Honestly, I feel like there's always this time where I'm like, if I can make it to March, I'm going to be okay.
You mean like
winter-wise?
Mental?
Yeah, like
Mentally?
we're all in seasonal depression right now, I'm sure. It's so cold in Utah. It's dark. We did get some sunshine today.
Today was beautiful.
Today was great.
Yeah.
But it's been so cold, and we're almost there. Today's what, the
19th, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are we wrong, Abby?
We're so close.
19th, yeah.
We've got a week, and then for me, for some reason, March 1st, I'm like, okay, it's happening.
We have 9
coming.
days, and then we're gonna get there.
We're there.
Today was beautiful, actually. This evening, driving
Yeah.
over, it was really pretty.
Yeah, it's nice, and it wasn't super cold today. It was
No.
bright and pretty.
No, I actually don't mind winter. Specifically, I've been sleeping with my windows open, and so because I get so hot at night.
Yeah.
And especially Christian comes to bed like 3 hours later than me and heats up the bed like a freaking grizzly bear or something. And I'm ready to murder him in his sleep, but I would never. And so
don't get that DNA test.
Don't get the DNA test. But so I am going to miss, I sleep with the window cracked and it makes my room so
I do
nice.
love having like winter time. Like when you open the window in the summer, it's like 90 degrees out here still at 10 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah, it gets really hot here in Utah during the summer.
But yeah, the cold. I love
cold
a cold
nights.
window.
I know. And so I'm going to miss that, but I am excited for the sun and summer. It's been so
It'll be
beautiful.
exciting.
This is our last spring forward here in a little bit.
Is it? We're not doing it anymore?
We are no longer doing
We're gonna
daylight savings.
Well, doesn't that mean we're staying on daylight savings?
Yeah, so it just means like next winter it'll stay light until 5 instead of getting dark at 4.
4.
Yeah.
I'm excited
But
about
it'll
that.
be darker. The reason they did it was so that kids didn't have to go to school in the dark. So it is going to be dark when you take your kids to school.
Yeah. Which it kind of is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle, like not now, I guess, but like January 1st.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we'll see. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Thanks, Kim.
Bye.